different foundations. So this we can say it's a political corruption. But how dangerous is this for democracy? What's your opinion, especially for Eastern Europe, for young democracies?
Because I was very excited about this topic, I want you to explain me basically what they did with the United States. So USAID. So Soros Foundation, how they used the money to buy the media in Bulgaria? How did they do it?
They're just providing funds to some media outlets, and they're completely supporting them in their work.
To control their narrative, basically.
Well, we can say this, we can say control, or direct, or help.
Okay, so we're talking about a lot of media?
About millions, billions of dollars together with the United States Agency for International Development.
So this had a huge effect on the public opinion in Bulgaria?
Yes, but the public, it's not yet aware of how huge is this. That's why I was interested to know your opinion about that kind of foreign influence in your country or other country, European countries.
And why you think, you are asking me questions, but I want to keep asking, why you think the United States wanted to do this? They wanted to control the media in Bulgaria to do what? To have the right prime minister, to have good connections. Why they didn't want the Bulgaria to focus on Russia? Why? What was the motivation?
So, well, it's a really big, very big answer, but the motivation is to influence for certain policy. They could be in different fields. But yes, you're on the right path. For instance, America announced those days that are going to close media like Free Europe, Freedom, and Voice of America. And even Elon Musk said Europe is now free, we don't need those medias. But Free Europe, for instance, was created in the 50s as a part of fighting the communism. So there is a process going on, and I'm interested on your view on that. Should European medias be supported or financed by the powers who are outside the European Union?
Well, I don't like this. Why the United States to be spending billions of dollars in, like you described, in Bulgaria to control the narrative there? I don't think this is the right thing. We need to let the countries have, because if you are, whoever pays for your bills kind of owns you in a way, your opinion, he can have influence. So yeah, I don't like this. And also, but I'm happy that it's not the only source. Now, the biggest source is social media. People can have their opinion online. And slowly shifting all of this. Maybe before it was effective what they were doing. Because if they control the TV channels, they control the country, they control the public opinion. But what about now? If they control the TV channels, we don't get only the source of our knowledge from the TV channels. So now it's not effective anymore as well. So that's why even they are doing it and they are not effective as well. They're spending billions of dollars and they are not as effective as they were.
Yeah. And and what's your ambitions in the European Parliament? For instance, I was working in a legislation related to protecting the media and journalists, the Media Act, and I managed to push through many positive texts protecting journalism from censorship, wiretapping, persecution. But I insisted also on transparency of the media ownership. That readers know who is behind a media outlet.
We need to know at least if they should be allowed to fund them, but at least we need to know who funds them, right? I think it's important not to be behind closed doors and all this stuff.
Yeah, but
transparency will solve a lot of these problems.
Yes, but what I couldn't achieve, and it wasn't accepted, I proposed it, that information about sponsors to become public. And many of my colleagues didn't accept this.
Really? Interesting. Oh, it says something. So you ask me what I have similar ambitions like you have to. So I have 3-4 big passions here in the European Union. First is freedom of speech. It's very important to achieve freedom of speech because I think we generally have a lot of freedom of speech in Europe. But for example, on COVID, when it was COVID, they censored millions of posts. So I'm afraid the next crisis that we have the regulations in place, DSA and all this stuff that we have, that they will use this to censor stuff. So I'm afraid that for the future freedom of speech of Europe. So it's one of concern that another thing that I'm focusing is on peace. Peace in Ukraine, peace in Palestine and Israel. That's another major focus of mine. And the other major focus of mine, I'm in the Committee of Budgetary Control. I want to do something like Dodge in the United States to see how they spend the money in the European Union and if they spend them effectively. So I'm inside this committee and I'm trying to find some corruption or some mismanagement of the budget. So these are kind of my goals. And my ultimate goal also is to let everyone know what is happening here. Because if you go and ask in the streets, nobody knows what is happening.
So what is the best way to do this? How a video clip should look like in order to bring this information outside the European Parliament in the best way?
What you mean? What you mean? What's the best way to?
How a video clip should look like in order to be viewed?
Well, this is what we are doing now. So we're talking very simple for everyone to understand. We're not talking with very technical terms. I think this is very important, and it needs to be transformed. And this is what we're going to do with this video, in short form content. Like when you scroll on Instagram and TikTok and all these videos, people don't sit now and watch 2 hours, 3 hours, or 40 minutes. People like to have fast information. So now from our interview that conversation that we did together, we're going to cut 2-3 clips that will be 2 or 3 minutes, and people will scroll and watch them. So you need to adapt to the world that is now. Not, and this is the world that we're living, scrolling
yeah, but yes, maybe this is the reality, but sometimes I'm afraid that this fast information will become like fast food, and we are going to lose the deepness.
Well, I agree with you. I think you need also some longer form to understand, but I don't know. We need to adjust in the world because we are going to be left behind and we are going to be romantic. No, I don't like this. Let's stay with longer information. So we need to, and then everyone will not care about us. So we need to adjust in the world. I am also romantic like you. Let's have more information and all this stuff, but this is not the reality.
Yeah. Thank you, Filius. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Elena, I love you.
Thank
You are one of the people here that I can sit down, have a normal conversation about common sense things.
Let's continue this friendship.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. I love you.
Thank you. I love
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.